How's it going? David here. Well, I just bought a house. Pretty excited. This is my second house that I will own now. I bought in previous house before, but I usually had to sell them to buy another one. But this current house I'm living in right now, I'm gonna keep as a rental, and my new one I'm gonna live in. But before I show you, all the breakdowns of the price I paid and all this kind of stuff that happened, and pictures and a walkthrough of it, I'm going to jump into a couple articles first, because I've mentioned many times how you need to try to get into a house as soon as you can, because it's the number one factor of building wealth over your lifetime. And here's an article by Forbes, Why Real Estate Builds Wealth More Consistently Than Any Other Asset. And it goes in to show you basically, living in it, you get cash flow. If you're renting it out like I am with one of my houses, if your mortgage is lower than what you're renting it out for, you get cash flow. That's a way you can build, more money that way. Another way is appreciation. Obviously, if you're in the house and it's going up in value, then it appreciates. Like if you buy it for $300 and goes to $350, great, you made money there. And that's the interesting thing about real estate, is with stocks, right? You just buy into it, and let's say it doesn't give out dividends. You just buy into it, and like Tesla, and then hope it goes up. And then when you sell, that's when you make your money. Same with a house, but at least with a house, you have to live somewhere. You can't live in a stock. And then on top of that is, if you rent it out, you get money every month on top of the fact that the home is appreciating as well. And then depreciation. You can write off different things for taxes. You can use it as leverage. If you have cash flow and you have a rental property, you can use that as leverage to buy more homes or whatever it is. I have a friend who uses his leverage to buy more stocks. Then there's also this article where it's 90% of the world's millionaires do this to create wealth. Over the last 2 centuries, about 90% of the world's millionaires have been created by investing in real estate. Let that sink in. Over the last 2 centuries, 90% all comes from real estate. For the average investor, real estate offers the best way to develop significant wealth. As with any and all forms of investing, it's the best to get started early in real estate so you can put time on your side. A good way to begin is buy your first primary residence. And so that's why I've always said, hey, you need to get into real estate. You need to get a first home. Once you do, it just becomes easier. Like this home, I was able to get in, and I just refied as the rates went down. And then, I was able to get it so low where now I can rent it out at a profit. And I get it. The crash. What about the crash? It could go down, all this kind of stuff. If I could get houses at 2005 prices, I'd be all over that, right? Like that was the peak. The peak was around 2005, 2006. If I could get houses at that price, I'd love it. I'd love it. So it's only high depending on where you're at, like time frame wise. Yeah, it's high now, then in 2005, but it's not high now. So if you live in a house long enough, say I bought this house at the peak, and then it crashes down again. Okay, eventually it'll go back up. And, maybe I'll rent this house out and buy a different house if the market's low, I'll just rent this one out and buy a new one. Before I get into the videos and how much I paid and all the numbers and everything like that, if you haven't subscribed, think about subscribing, and also like this video as well if you want to see more of this kind of stuff. Okay, so here's the entryway. I need to cut down that tree. It's kind of low. This is basically the front door. There's going to be a lot of work to be done on this place. There's my girlfriend, and there's my 2 dogs. But yeah, so we're going to replace all the carpets. We're going to get rid of the popcorn ceiling. We're obviously going to repaint it. Just tons of work that needs to be done. That's how we got it pretty cheap. I'll go into the numbers a little later on all this, but this is just showing you. This is the kitchen. We're going to remodel the kitchen as well. Do that. We're going to do a ton of remodeling, but I'm doing it in phases. So phase 1 is what I'm talking about. Now these ceilings are pretty tall. They're 25 feet tall. So it's really tall. So we're going to knock down all that popcorn ceiling, repaint and everything like that. So here's the guest bathroom. It goes into the master bedroom, and it has a little balcony, which is kind of cool. And then we have the master bathroom, which we do have to, there's me, which we do have to make bigger because it is teeny tiny. Master bathroom, and if you look at in here, this room is so small. Like, look, I can't even close the door without my foot getting hit. So if I was in here and I opened it up, I'm in the way. So yeah, you can see how that is going to be a problem. We're going to fix that. Yeah, so here's the backyard. Cool thing is, it has this little swing here, as you can see, right there. I like park or bench swings. Don't know why. Just do. Here's pretty much the backyard. We used to have this massive, like a little miniature house of this house right there. It was a playhouse. I went up on Craigslist. I'm like, whoever wants it can come and take it. I have no use for it. I'd rather it to go to somewhere else. We also had a bunch of other stuff that needed to be removed, but had some kind of value. So I just went on Craigslist and was like, you want it? Come take it. And so I got rid of a bunch of stuff. I'm actually, that kitchen in there that I showed you earlier, I'm going to put it up on Craigslist and see if anyone will take it apart for me. I'm sure someone will. Someone will want those cabinets. Wood's very expensive these days. So that's one tip. You want a tip? Go on Craigslist, have random people come and do it for free. Yeah, so that's a good pro tip right there. And that'll save you money. Okay, so here's the upstairs. I showed you the backyard. That's pretty much why we bought the place, was so for our dogs. We're going to get rid of this thing so the window's wide open. This is just bedrooms. Nothing special about these things. They're going to be torn apart and totally fixed. Everything's going to be fixed in this. But then here we'll come into, shaky camera, here we'll come into my office / YouTube studio. Obviously get rid of the popcorn ceilings. Probably put this thing like looks down onto the balcony or to the other place. Kind of weird. But yeah, has a huge closet, and I'll put my YouTube stuff over there in the corner. The closet is massive. It's like the size of a small bedroom. But yeah, I'll put all my YouTube stuff there in the corner and my desk and stuff. So yeah, I'll have like a new YouTube look. It won't be right away. I'll have to slowly build it and figure out what I want. Okay, now into the numbers. We got this house for $820, and it was originally listed for $850, and it sat for a few weeks, and they dropped the price. And we even got it under the price. They dropped it down to $830, I believe, and we even got it under that. And the reason why it sat is if you look at the videos and you can see it needs a lot of work. They haven't updated anything probably since like the 90s. It was built in the 70s, and some of the stuff maybe is an original from the 70s, and they haven't really updated much. And that's a key factor. Is our generation, millennials, do not like going into places unless they're turnkey, and that is a fact. They're 35% more likely to want a turnkey than the previous generation. So that means this keeps on going up and up. So no one really wants to do any work, and they don't have any vision for it. So the only people I was competing with are flippers, and they come in with all cash and they want it dirt cheap so they can make as much money as possible. So I literally had no competition other than flippers, and they were pretty low. So I got in, and then on top of that, once you get in, this is what you do. You find every single possible thing you can find wrong with it, and you make a massive list. And then you ask for a big, big number, and then you settle down. We ended up getting $7,200 back for repairs and things like that. Those sheds that I showed you, that shed and little playhouse, they did not want to deal with that. So they gave us extra money to deal with it. And all I did was went on Craigslist and go, hey, free. If anyone wants it, and people came and took it apart within a few days. So what we're going to do is we're going to do it in phases because I don't have the money to do it all at once. And we're going to take care of the big stuff first. So flooring, popcorn ceilings, kitchen, stuff like that. We'll do that, save up more money, do another big project, save up more, so on and so forth. And then once we get to the point where it's pretty much done and complete, we'll probably list it, make a little money. Because here's the thing. If we bought a house and let's just say for argument's sake that the house went up in our neighborhoods in like San Diego, went up like 10% in like 3 years, right? Well, if we get this house and we got it for 820, right? And say it goes up 80 grand, now it's worth 900,000. But the house that we also want, that's say like a million something, well, that also went up 10% over the last 3 years. So we didn't really make any headroom, right? We didn't actually gain anything. Everything went up. So we got to go into ones that need work that we can get cheap, flip them. And so we, instead of going up, yeah, they go up 10%, but then on top of that, we put in all these fixes and stuff, and then we can sell it for an additional 50, 60, 70, $80,000. I don't know by the time we're done what we're going to have. And yeah, so that's what, we need to do to slowly get ahead to get to the next place. And depending when we get to this point, what are we going to do? We might rent it out. If the market's gone up enough or rents are high enough where we can rent it out for what our mortgage is, then we'll rent it out. And that's what I'm doing with this place. I bought it for $400 and it's up to $600. And I've refied so many times that now with everything, taxes, insurance, mortgage, and HOA, it's about $2,200. And I can rent this thing out for around, I got someone that wants to move in for $2,900. So I'll be making $700. I'm going to keep a reserve so I don't, in case someone misses a payment or something like that, or, whatever, something happens, freak accident, leak or something, I have money for that. So I'll have reserves. But yeah, so we bought this for $820, 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, about 2,300 square feet. So very big. We needed it because we want a yard, which we're going to turf the whole thing because I hate lawn care and maintenance and stuff like that. So the good thing is the HOA takes care of the front yard, so I don't have to deal with that. So I won't have any yard to deal with. And fix up as much as we can. And then the good thing is, if something happens and we end up staying here, this house is big enough for us to expand our family and for our dogs, and it works out. This current place I'm living at right now doesn't have all that. This place has like enough room for an actual place where I can do YouTube instead of just at my same desk here. That wall behind me, that took a long time to build. I'm not going to do it on the next one because I'll need a super tall ladder to get way up there, and it'll just take way too long. So I'm going to have to come up with something new, cool ideas. So if you have any ideas, feel free to put a link in one of the comments of like a cool idea to do. So, but yeah, so we're moving in a couple weeks. We're supposed to have this guy come and take down the popcorn ceilings. He bailed last minute. So I had to find someone new. So hopefully, but they couldn't take the project till Monday. So it's getting like super, super close. We're probably going to have to live in it while there's still construction going on, which I didn't want to do. But yeah, so everyone starts at a different pace in their journey, and it's definitely, not everyone. I started out, literally I had a video on it, how I pretty much slightly over minimum wage, I was able to buy my first house. And because of that, I made a bunch of money when I sold it to get the next one and the next one and the next one. And it just all snowballs, and everyone starts at a different spot. I get that. And where there's a will, there's a way. Like, for example, this one, it's a 4-bedroom. There's only 2 of us and in our offices, and so we're going to rent out one of the rooms. I did that with this place too. Save some money. You can find some decent people. And a lot of people comment, it's like, oh, why are you buying with a girlfriend? Me and my girlfriend have been together for 8 years. We lived together for 6. So we've been together longer than most married couples. So no worry there. People always ask me if it's like a good idea to move in with a girlfriend. This is not someone I just met off the street. So we're 50-50 partners. We each put in 50% of the money. So it's all good. All good. All right. Well, have a great weekend.